meet you.
Good to
Nice
meet
to meet
you.
Okay. Nice to meet you guys. I'm really stoked. I saw Hitman over the weekend. I love the first one, but this one was in a league of its own. And
Thanks.
seriously, I couldn't compare it to the first one. I'm like, it's just as good, and like but it's in its own league, and that's what's so great about it.
That's good. I'm really glad you enjoyed it. Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
So this was your feature film directorial debut. How did this come up? How did you guys get this? Like, how did this come about?
So we've been directing like YouTube shorts for like about 10 years. So we've been just doing short films on YouTube, all kind of geeky kind of stuff, like typically involving that action. So we did some live action Dragon Ball Z short films because we're big anime geeks. We did some X-Men short films, Batman, some original stuff. And also George had also worked with Scott as a stuntman on Doctor Strange. So we kind of knew Scott from the past.
Oh, nice.
So George is a stuntman, and was the stunt double for Benedict Cumberbatch on Doctor Strange. So,
Wow.
So he met Scott through that, and then basically we'd written our own film, another kind of action-based film, and we made a proof of concept, which is not online anywhere, but we made like a 6-minute short version of the film, and we showed it to Scott to say, look Scott, come and be in our movie, because then we knew it would help us go and get the budget to make our film, and Scott loved it and said, okay, I'm interested. Short version is that we didn't end up working with him on that project, but he then called us 2 weeks later and said, actually, guys, do you want to come and work on Accident Man 2? Because I was impressed with your work. And that's how we got on it. So we owe a big thanks to Scott. He kind of gave us our break here. So we're very appreciative to him for that. And our producers that allowed us into the project. So yeah.
That's amazing. And I think fans are gonna love this one. So what was it like working with Scott on the film and the other cast members? Because I've recognized all of them, like Ray Stevenson. I know Sarah Chang from a couple movies.
Nice.
Bo Fowler, I've watched his stuff since like Underground back in 2007. the indie British, so I've known his stuff for a while. Yeah. And he was just maniacal as Poco, the killer clown.
He was great.
And Andy Long as Oyumi, he was fantastic. I love his stuff too. I got to see his film Luke Van Tien last year, which was amazing.
Okay, nice.
So what was it like working with this cast of action stars, if you will?
I mean, obviously, we're big fans of Scott anyway and his movies and stuff. So getting to work alongside him and with him, he's very collaborative on this, all the way from the scripts through to action design and on set and everything. So, we definitely benefited from his experience, learning from him. And so that was really great. And like you say, everyone, all the assassins, all the actors that were fighting, all had their own, all fighters and martial arts in their own respect. So unique and had their own styles, and just made the whole process easier, but just more creative. Everyone brought ideas, everyone brought flavor and style and stuff. So it definitely having people that understand action and understand martial arts and definitely helped boost the action and kind of give it a bit of extra sauce. So definitely really enjoy working with Scott. He knows where to put the camera. He knows how to make all the hits work and stuff. You don't have to. It allowed us creatively with the camera and through my stunt work and stuff. I've done a lot of previs for Marvel movies and things like that. So getting to bring some of my experience on the camera and be able to go, right, we want to do this. And you don't have to. You know that they're going to be able to deliver exactly what you want. You don't have to compromise your shots to make the action work.
Anything or
you don't have to hide anything or fake anything. It's
because all the guys are doing it for real on camera. So it's amazing stuff. I mean, like we were just like geeking out basically. We're supposed to be directing the film, but you're standing there watching these martial artists just do crazy stuff. Watching Andy Long and Scott go against each other was just nuts. Like,
that was phenomenal. That was a great fight. Yeah, that one.
Yeah, the pace those two worked at was crazy. Like because they would get it right like first or second time. And we also had Joe on the camera and our DOP Rich. We did an amazing job of we would just had the camera, spinning around, doing 360s, all that kind of stuff. And we could just show off their crazy talent. So it was great. Yeah.
Yeah, and what I really liked, the one thing that cracks me up, I felt like Mike and Sue Ling were like the Inspector Clouseau and the Kato of the film. It reminded me of the whole Pink Panther thing when
that was a big inspiration.
Out of nowhere and start beating Clouseau up. And with Sue Ling, she just pops out of nowhere, beats up Mike, and then Mike has to say flamingo. That whole shtick was hysterical, and I love how it ends when she just goes. I thought that was. And Sarah Chang and her fight scene against Silas was amazing. I mean, the way she executed her moves. I mean, holy crap!
Yeah, she so Sarah was a wushu champion of herself. We really pushed her on some of the stuff as well, like her and Pete, who plays Silas. And yeah, those guys. We got some pretty long takes of those fights as well, where they're doing quite big sequences. And Sarah was hilarious. She was lovely. She's really sweet.
Again, she brought a lot of her own herself to the character. The comedy and stuff. Which definitely elevates her character even more, I think, and makes her stand out in the film.
We also wanted to make sure that Sue Ling was a kind of like an equal to Scott. Like she's a really strong fighter. She's funny. She's a good pairing with Scott. Like they bounce off each other really well. So yeah.
They did. Yeah, they totally did. And I like the fact that we had Ray Stevenson come back and Perry Benson. I mean, Ray Stevenson is legend. I mean, not just from Marvel, but I mean, everyone might know him from Thor, but he also played the Punisher at one point in his career.
Exactly, yeah.
And I love Warzone. So what was it like working with Ray on his scenes? Because he was it must be great working with an absolute legend like him.
Yeah, I mean, he couldn't have been more lovely for one, because he's an imposing guy. He's a big Ray for a reason. So, and we know how experienced as an actor he is. It's like our first film. So it's a bit nerve-wracking at first to be like, okay, but he couldn't have been sweeter, kind of really easy to get along with. And, we were like, he came with great ideas. He was like, what if I said this instead of, what if we change this, change that? And all the ideas he had were great. Yeah. So for us, honestly, that was some of our easier days, because we're like, okay, off you go, guys. And Ray's just knocking out the park.
You let him do his craft, and he knows what he's doing. And especially it seemed him and Scott. I really think them two working off each other really elevates, and you get some really good performances there.
We hope you felt like Ray was quite kind of menacing when he first arrived, that kind of stuff, and that was a pleasure to watch him do that. And it's just so funny, that's the job of an actor. That watching Ray flip from this scary, menacing man to this big, friendly guy kind of thing. So yeah, he was lovely to work with.
Really, brilliant.
Really good fun. Yeah.
That's awesome. So this being your first feature film, what challenges did you face during production? Because I know for a first feature film, you've had to have faced some challenges, like
many challenges. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Schedule's a big one. There's not huge budget films, so we had 22 days to shoot the film. To put it in perspective, the latest Bond movie was 125 days. So we've got a lot less time. So that's a big challenge, just making all the action work and getting through. A good thing is that Scott was producer on this movie, so he was able to kind of come in and say, we need to give the guys time for the action, make sure that we got enough time to shoot the action, which was really important to him and to us.
Yeah, sure.
The weather in Malta was
we had it was basically the worst rain they'd had in 24 years or something like that in Malta, and so we went to Malta expecting obviously nice sunshine for the majority of it, and which we did get. We were lucky most days, but we had in 2 of the weeks that we were there, they had 87% of their yearly rainfall in those 2 weeks. So it was like a monsoon one day, and so we got one day called off because of the rain, but we're obviously able to get it back. But we got pretty lucky, really. We could have had more days, because a lot of it was outside and trying to utilize the location and all the epic views of Malta, sort of thing. So we did get lucky with the weather, but unlucky on one day.
And also just coming off of COVID times as well, so that was a challenge. We got lucky, nothing happened there, so that was good. And in general, I suppose just for us, it's we've made tons of shorts over 10 years, but just stepping up to that level where we've suddenly got 120 people on set and we're running the show. It's always a slightly daunting task, but it was good. It was
great experience.
The crew were amazing, and really so we had a good team around us, and great experience.
Yeah, the fight choreography in this was amazing. I mean, this was a surprise to see that Scott Adkins' name was under fight choreography, because I don't think I've ever seen that in his whole career until now. But you know, kudos to him, Andy Long, and an additional choreography. I saw George's name. I saw Tin Man, which is who's frequently worked with Atkins on so many.
Yeah. Also, Hung Deng Hong as well.
Hung Deng Hong, and then also Sam Mack. Like it was a very, very collaborative, you know, experience. You know, everyone came with ideas. It was kind of like, we always try and adopt the best idea wins, because it's always going to make the film better. You know, everyone kind of leaves their egos at the door, and we just work on getting the film, the action as good as it can be. So, Scott loved. Like you say, I don't think he gets to do that much action choreo in his films. I think usually that's based on because he doesn't have a lot of time because he's always working and doing stuff. So he has, like you say, people like Tin Man doing a lot of the choreo for him. But I think he was really involved this time and definitely brought his own flavour. And like you say, Andy Long brought his Jackie Chan style choreography and stuff too, which is amazing to watch him work, and definitely learned a lot from him as well.
We also had some days where we were kind of to try and keep up with the schedule. We had some days where me and George were split, so I would be off filming one fight, George would be doing another. So typically, I would be working with Andy, and George would be working with Scott. So I had me and Andy were kind of working with each other. And George and Scott working with each other, and Sam Mack. So it was we were
definitely helped it.
I find it interesting.
Can you hear us? Have we just cut out? Can you hear us?
Yeah, I find it. Yeah, I can. I find it interesting because it makes me wonder. I mean, with a movie with like basically 6 fight choreographers, like how did that work? And now that you guys told me, it kind of made it more smoother in some sense.
Yeah.
But it's
So just to give you a clear idea, so like for example, someone like Tin Man, right? Tim worked with Scott on the first one. He'd actually kind of already put a few bits and pieces together. So we took just a few elements of his and we were like, we like that move, we like that move. Then like we had all of our own ideas and bought a lot of stuff and worked with Scott to previs. But then when you're prevising with someone like Andy, who has also got amazing experience and who actually very luckily thinks very similarly to George in terms of how he would where he put the camera and all that kind of stuff. It just did really gel well. And I could see a scenario on another time where we don't have that and suddenly, this person's like, well, I think we should do this, but we kind of all on the same wavelength. And made it really easy.
That's awesome. So George, are we going to see you in Action Man 3? That's a good question. We should see him take on Scott in an upcoming movie.
That'd be a pretty short fight, I think. Scott would win,
So with this coming out October 14th, are you guys going to be working on your next feature film down the road? Are you going to keep going with the short films? What's up? What's coming up next?
Can't say too much, but we are in talks for another feature. It's something that we've written ourselves, so we're excited and hoping that can happen. We're pretty close to that happening, so hopefully we can confirm that soon. We've had a couple of offers as well for some stuff to work on. So looking good. It's a good start from us. And after, when we first started making YouTube shorts, we were like, oh yeah, we'll be big directors in a year's time. It took 10 years, but
we think it's paid off in the end. Really, you learn your craft and you learn how to be a filmmaker and director, and just hone all our skills basically. So I think it actually paid dividends in the end. Because we're able to deliver a better film because of it.
Yeah, I hear that.
Feeling excited. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, just so you guys know, I did subscribe to your YouTube channel, so I'm going to check
Thanks very
out
much.
your films. So I found it. And Accident Man, Hitman's Holiday is coming out October 14th. Seriously, if you like the first one, they're definitely going to love this one because I felt like this was in a league of their own. George and Harry, I had a blast with this interview, talking to you guys, and I cannot wait to, I hope everyone gets to see this, and I can't wait to see more of your stuff.
Thank you very much. It's been and hopefully we get to talk to you again soon.
Yeah. All right. You guys take care.
All right, catch you later.
All right. Bye-bye.